into Portland and get their most impressive win of the year. Huge games from DeAndre Ayton, Rui Hachimura, Nick Smith Jr., and Bronny James. This guy's a team win. Lakers put up 123 points, big game, and they get it.
Look, I'm going to have to go back to the original old school Worthy clap when I was bouncing up in the chair. Because I've got to tell you.
You want that one, Big A.
This might have been the best game of the year, in my opinion. They've had some good games, but this one, Geeter, it's indicative of what J.J. Redick has been putting out there to this team. You know, regardless of who's on the floor, the principles remain the same. You know, you might not have the talented players, Luka, you might not have LeBron or Reeves, but you still have the same principles as a team. And I thought they worked it to the T tonight. I thought, you know, it was just a really good game. Smith coming in, doing what he did. Rui, you know, taking an 8 and coming back home to Portland, playing a good game. I just thought they did a good job defensively. And that was won the game for them down the stretch.
I just feel like when you look at these people that were in the game, they're all top 10 picks in the draft. So they probably saying, oh, this is what we can do if you let us play. And you look at the way Smart kind of kept everybody under control. You know, they had a little problems bringing the ball in, and Smart said, let me take it upon myself to bring it up, get us in position. You look at what Ayton was able to do on the inside. I think Ayton probably knew everybody he was going up against because of all the days in practice. But you look at Nick Smith coming up, you know, Jr. coming off the bench, play with no fear. Just going out there and dominate. You know, a couple of shots, I was like, is he? Oh, yes, he did. Oh, he made that.
Yes, he did.
And so that's what you got to have. You got to play with no fear. I talked about playing with, you know, fear, you know, playing fearless and playing with a lot of speed and playing really playing really great. So this was just an exciting game to watch from beginning to end.
I thought this may have been Bronny's best game of his NBA career.
He was awesome tonight.
You know, for a young kid that's been working toward, you know, trying to get more experience. He came in when they needed him. You know, he had some assists.
6.
He had some assists. He had some big rebounds, kept the ball in play, hit a big 3. So, you know, we talked about this, I think, when Derek was in here. We talked about how he gets to play with, you know, other big-time players. He'll learn more and adjust better. And I think, you know, this is a good game for Bronny as well.
Bronny also hit 2 big free throws. Lakers have now won 4 in a row. 6 out of 7, and I know you guys were getting the same kind of text I was. Who's Nick Smith Jr.? We'll find out right now. Here he is with Mike Trudell.
All right, Nick Smith Jr., what a night for you and your team. As Jackson Hayes comes over to say congrats, as the rest of your teammates did. Look, you knew that you guys were really shorthanded tonight. How were you able to step into that void and execute like you did?
Well, I just wanted to come out here with energy, and Coach JJ and the coaching staff believe in me and believe in this group. No matter who we got, you know, our best players out. Just come out here and compete and win, and you know, I feel like we did that today, and we got to keep it going.
I mean, look, you're on a 2-way. I know you're battling to get a full contract in the NBA like anybody else would, but the main focus being the team. Nonetheless, what does it feel like to come through in a moment like this?
It's big for me, man, especially, you know, having a coaching staff. It just give me the utmost confidence just to go out there and play my game. And, you know, my teammates has definitely done a good job with me, just leading me in the right direction. And, you know, I'm learning a lot, man, and, you know, I'm just happy to be here.
3 short of your career high. Take me through the back-to-back threes in crunch time when Portland was trying to push on you.
You know, I was open. I think Smarty was driving down the lane. He got created too, and I was open. I just took the shot, and you know, the last one, I think it was just a heat check moment. You know, I was open, so you know, I took the shot.
All right, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was just going back to the back at halftime. It looked like you got a little sick. How were you feeling? You clearly were able to overcome it, but were you all right?
Yeah, it was. No way I was missing this one. You know, just to get a chance to play, you know, with the guys and get a chance to compete. And you know, I mean, I guess I needed it. I guess I don't know. Yeah, it just happened.
All right, Nick. Well, what a job from you. Go enjoy it with your teammates. All right.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Get sick more often, Nick Smith Jr.
Bring up the guy's sickness on TV. He's had a big game.
25 points.
Getting light.
25 points, 10 of 15. He was 5 of 6 from 3. If you look at his box score, he had 8 points in the second quarter, 7 points in the third, 10 in the fourth, plus minus a +9. The Lakers were 9 points better with him on the floor. And by the way, James, also 6 assists. Game ball goes to a few different guys. He definitely is one of those guys.
Without question. I mean, look, you give players the minutes, and they'll probably produce if you give them the time to play. This guy was in Charlotte, unorthodox, style of dribbling and getting away from you to get his shot off, and perfected it tonight.
He's crafty.
Yeah.
You know, you watch him play. He's got a herky-jerky game, and he gets to his spot. And for me, he played under control. You know, sometimes when you get hot, you can come out and take a lot of shots. So I'm hot. Let me try to go for mine. He stayed in rhythm. And I think the best thing was when Marcus Smart took over and was penetrating, get him easier shots. You know, because sometimes when you're such a great ball handler like he is, you can try to create and manufacture a shot for yourself. But sometimes it's a lot easier to just sit in the corner and take a shot. And I think Marcus Smart did that for him.
You're always so excited in these kind of games because I'm always like, oh, man, no one's playing tonight. And you love it because you always said, I got a lot of sugar back in the days when Shaq and Kobe wouldn't play. That was the one thing I'm putting up numbers. Mm-hmm. When I go to an old arena where I played at, where I used to be on that team, or when the stars are out, time to shine. Yeah,
it's always been a comfortable situation. You know, you look it down the line, you say, okay, A is out, B is out. Okay, there's going to be a lot of balls being, especially when you got a team that loves to play with one another. Now, you can sometimes play on a team of guys that he says, oh, I can get mine because I'm on the contract. You know, you think about this guy, he's on a two-way deal. He could have went out and forced the issue, but he didn't. He let the game come in. And it's so much fun and better because you can really see how good players are. Sometimes we don't understand how much of a backseat some players take. You think of what DeAndre Ayton did when he was in Portland. Everybody like, he didn't put up numbers there, because he had all these other guys trying to get numbers. Tonight, when you go into a guy, he can show you his ability, what he do. You look at Rui. Rui did his thing. Everybody had the opportunity to score. So that lets you know there's a lot of talent on that bench the late side. They doesn't have the opportunity to do it.
Hayton, Rui Hachimura and DeAndre Ayton, they combined for 57 points. They hit 24 out of 34 field goals. Did it from the three-point line as well for Rui, 2 for 4. The rebounds for DeAndre Ayton, 10. I want to talk Ayton, big game. Listen, we mentioned this at halftime. This man has gotten so comfortable quickly. And 10 boards.
And 3 blocks.
And 3 blocks.
And 3
Thank
blocks.
You for that.
So, he did his job on both ends of the court. He led tonight. Look, we remember him when he was in Phoenix playing well. When he was beside CP3, had an experienced veteran there that knew how to make him play. He gets traded. Didn't work out that well. He's 27 years old, Geeter. You don't start peaking. I know Robert peaked when he was like 22, but you don't start peaking until you're like 27 in this league.
I don't think I ever peaked, James.
Still peaking.
And he's right there right now. He's with a great franchise. A lot of time players, they get with franchises. All the NBA teams, it's a joy to play in the league. But when you get with the right franchise that is a winning franchise, kind of like when Rob came from Phoenix to Los Angeles, it was the right franchise for him. Good teammates, an organization that has history, wants to win, that brings out the best in players. So Ayton's, he's got a lot of years left, and I think he's realized where he is right now with Luka, with LeBron, with the Lakers' history, and he's trying to make the best of it.
You had a conversation with Allie and James in the pregame show, and you said, James, you don't know anything about this because you played with the Lakers your whole career. But when you go back to a place that you played, like DeAndre Ayton did for Portland, and it didn't go that great, he missed a bunch of games. The team was always in the cellar. You said, you got a little extra something. He had it tonight. Yeah, he came out with a purpose.
And you think about that last play, that statement dunk. I don't think I've ever seen him jump that high. He went up there with a thunderous dunk down the stretch. And for me, when you have the opportunity to go back in the building you play with, had the opportunity to go up against, a franchise that you were in that uniform and it didn't work out the way you wanted to, you want to show them what you could do if you allowed me to do that. And I think with Ayton, he's such a great player. When you look back to when they went to the finals with Phoenix, I think everybody's, it was CP3 and Book that did it. No, this guy averaged 20 and 10, and we forget that. I've been a big fan of his for a long time. Me and Brez had plenty of conversation where I said, no, this is the guy I want. Because you look at the people available, this is the only guy I think that we could use. And it's going to take time for him to be able to understand the organization, for the organization to understand him, because you think about he's not playing with a high flyer dunk. Even though he can do it, He wants to pick and pop and hit that 15-footer. So it's still, in the making of making a good team and understanding each other. But I like DeAndre Ayton. I like what he's done so far for this organization.
You know who's probably proud tonight, big game, watching that game? LeBron James.
Yeah.
I don't know how many texts I got from my kids, everybody. Bronny with the exclamation marks. All right, time to hear from Coach J.J. Redick.
game.
Brought to you by your Toyota dealers.
I suppose you have to be proud kind of an effort like that, down so many guys. Where does it start for you? What stands out the most?
I would just say our mentality. You can't win in the NBA without stepping on the floor and expecting to win. And I thought our guys had that from the start. And then that just confidence, belief, and truly connectivity in that second half was just awesome to watch. It was just blossoming. And I thought DA and Rui offensively for us were great all night. But, Nick Smith in the second half he just took the game over. And we needed his handle and we needed his wiggle tonight. And truthfully, it was a perfect game for him. That you play against that team, they're so disruptive. Drew kind of makes up his own rules. They play their small lineup where they switch everything. And so you play a game like that, it turns into, can I beat my man off the dribble? And I thought once our guys stopped trying to just run pick and roll early in the game and just said, no, I'm just going to beat my guy, create the advantage, and then we're going to play from there. And we did that a number of times in the second half.
With Nick Smith, he's on a two-way, and kind of to come through in moments like that, is there any extra that you're kind of also enjoying and watching and rooting for him, or not you're locked into the game, but just the way his teammates are embracing him and kind of the
that's what I mean by the connectivity. We got a good group. I'm excited about this group and what we could potentially be. I'm excited about the group, and his teammates loved it. The bench was awesome tonight. Our huddles were awesome. Just again, expecting to believe or expecting that we're going to win. I thought our guys had that all night.
There was, after opening night, there was like a lot of discussion about like, we've got to figure out how we're going to play hard the way that we did last year. That was like a part of our DNA. Like, it's going to take time. Here you are, 7 games later, and it feels like pretty much like in your team's bloodstream already. Like, how did it happen so quickly?
I would say I've told the team this a number of times throughout the preseason and early in this season that the best teams are always going to be player-led. And so those guys holding each other to that, that's why I say like those huddles, the communication on the court, all those small interactions, they're really valuable. And the guys are holding each other accountable to that. And then as a coaching staff, you have to get buy-in to that, and our guys are bought in. I think we talk about it as a group all the time. Like, you can't win in this league unless you play hard. It's impossible now. And these guys have just been awesome for the last 7 games.
There's a certain amount of offensive sacrifice that just comes into like having to play in this league, and like the good shots are threes and layups traditionally, but like, you've got guys on your team like Rui Hachimura is a really good mid-range shooter.
He doesn't miss from the mid-range.
DeAndre Ayton's a post-up player sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it felt like tonight, like all like the bad shots were good shots for your group. What was it like kind of watching that type of offense?
Yeah, again, you have to look at it's two things. You have to look at over the course of an 82-game season, what type of shots are you trying to generate? What is the most value? How do you get good shots? How do you create an advantage? And then on a night like tonight, how do we put the ball in the basket? How do we get a shot up? How do we run something that's in the semblance of organization? And the guys just for the last 3 quarters did that at a really high level.
You guys were in a very similar position exactly a week ago. Where did you see the biggest difference defensively from your group from last Monday to today?
They got a lot of the same stuff. 15 offensive rebounds and 26 second chance points, so I guess a little bit better. I thought overall, though, just outside of a few personnel things, Grant, getting to his left hand for an and one in the first half. Avdia is just he's a bull, getting to his right hand. And then, but we had some great shifts and some great on-ball stuff where we were really dialed into personnel. That's what we told the group before the game. Like, this is a personnel game, similar to last night. It's a personnel game. This is not a how do I guard this action game. It's how do I guard my guy. And I thought our for the most part, our attention to detail on that was really high.
DeAndre said last week, when you guys played Sacramento, he was really inspired by what you said pregame when you guys were a little bit shorthanded, and to him, he felt like you guys weren't shorthanded at all. So how do you, whether it's you or maybe the other players, instill that belief that you guys are going to win no matter who you guys have?
Well, it's not an easy thing to do, and it's not something that you just can say and then a guy's going to believe. I mean, it's a really organic thing, and that's why I think the things that we've preached from day one are so important. We recognize we need to be in great shape, but the communication and the habit piece, when the group can do that at a really high level every single night, you can win games when you're without a few players. And maybe the idea that being shorthanded is maybe a little bit of a misnomer. It's just I told the guys before the game, like, we have enough in this locker room to win this game. My belief level in this group that's here in Portland right now, that's in uniform right now, is as high as it's been. Like, I've been around this enough to know when a group is connected, and you still got to go out and play, and you got to go out and play hard, and you got to go out and make shots, and our guys just did all of those things tonight.
Because JJ said that, like, first things first, you have to believe that you can win a game in the NBA, even if you're shorthanded, and that was the mentality that you guys tried to come with. Did you feel like that was part of your role to lead that belief onto the court to start the game tonight?
Yeah, I was trying. Tonight wasn't individually a good night for me, but that's fine. It was opportunities for other guys, and my guy Rui, my guy Da, Bronny, and especially Nick Smith Jr. He came in and they just changed the game, and that's the beauty about basketball. Any given night, somebody can be the hero of the night, and we needed that. So I just tried to come in and just be as stable as I can and give my teammates some hope.
You're the number 6 pick, and obviously you've had a secure spot for a long time in the NBA. But do you think about Nick in that kind of a role? He's on a 2-way contract. Is there a part of you that kind of feels that and watches it as it's happening?
Yeah, definitely, man. Nick works his ass off each and every day. And he's a special talent with an ability that not a lot of people have. And, it was just good to finally see him able to go out there and show that ability. And like I said, we needed it tonight. So I'm happy for him. We all are, and much well deserved. So, I'm happy for him. I'm giving him flowers today for sure.
What does it take to hold off the way that Portland plays, the ball pressure, the second night of a back-to-back, 3 a.m., they didn't play, all that stuff, all of that stuff?
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, especially against that team, they play really hard. You got to give those guys credit. They got some really good defenders over there, really guys who are really good IQ-wise. And but it was tough, but that's the part of what JJ's talking about. You have to believe, and we came in tonight believing. We knew it wasn't going to be easy, and it wasn't.
In games like this, when you guys are shorthanded, what do you learn about this team?
You learn about the heart of the team. We could have easily came in here and quit, and allow what happened to us last time when we played this team, and we decided we didn't want to do that. So this team showed a lot of heart and that resilience that I've been talking about, that is starting to grow and grow even more. So we're going to try to keep going at it.
When you asked about playing hard, I think you gave the team a B+ at the time. How would you grade that for the team now, and what went into you guys? Cause it seems like it's just ingrained in your DNA now. Like, what went into that being what it is now?
Probably B++ now. We're getting up there, but just the mentality. You know, I'm sure JJ has talked about it, but with you guys, but just the championship habits, banshee mentality, you know, doing whatever it takes, you know, and that's nights like this where you get in 3 in the morning, probably didn't sleep well, had to get up on a back-to-back and play a team like Portland. It's that mentality you got to have. So that's kind of what it is. We're trying to lean more into it, and we're trying to get everybody on board, and we've been doing a good job with that.
Told us and JJ let us know that you weren't feeling well coming into tonight. You threw up at halftime. Just what were you dealing with coming into tonight's game?
I'm fine. A little mix up, but I'm good. Yeah.
Just how would you describe this night for you? I mean, you're on a two-way, joined the team right before training camp starts. Just what does this night mean to you?
It means a lot, man. I'm blessed to be in this position. I got a good group around me, good coaching staff. You know, each and every day I'm learning.
My bad, Smith Jr.
But no, like my boy Smarty. But just having guys like him around and Coach JJ and guys that, you know, been there before and won at a high level. I'm definitely learning a lot. So, you know, I'm glad to be here.
Nick, JJ was talking about how, in some ways, this game started to play into your hands, where the way Portland plays, how aggressive they are in the perimeter, it ends up being about who can kind of get their guy off the dribble, which is obviously one of your main skill sets. Is that what you were looking for to get to your spots, to get your shots off?
Well, I know the first time we played them, you know, they came out, you know, very aggressive on the defensive end, you know, transition buckets, that's what they want to get to. And, you know, I understood that, you know, so just watching the film, just looking at what they're going to give me for the night, and I just had to go out there and execute it.
If they're largely in a drop for most of the game, do you know that there's going to be that spot in the middle, and then obviously you have the pull-up threes as well, but is that what you're looking for, exploiting?
Yeah, you know, especially if they're in that drop, you know, for 48 minutes, you know, you got a step-up three, you know, you got, you know, other guys you can penetrate and get open, so it was definitely one of those nights.
Nick, what was the energy like in the timeouts after and from the bench after you kind of got going, and what was it like in here after the game?
It was a number of positive energy, man, and my teammates wanted me to keep going, and yeah, I just kept going.
What was going through? I know what was going through your stomach at halftime, but after the game, what was going through your head? And it seemed like the adrenaline was pumping pretty hard as you walked off the court.
Yeah, I'm fine now. I got it out. Yeah.
What about like just the, like, did it hit you kind of like, you know, obviously what the last 6 months have been like, you know, like we in Charlotte and that upset of situation and like finding a new home here, did any of that like kind of set in?
I mean, when I first walked into media day, it was kind of like wow, like it was like 200 people in there, just not really knowing anybody. The teammates didn't really know who I was. You know, I knew them obviously, but for me to have this moment now and for everybody to come together and have a big win like this is definitely special for me. And I appreciate it.
Any specific? Yeah, I assume you got the water bath or something like that when you came in, but just what was the reaction like? And
I mean, well, my teammates want me to go out there and be me. You know, they seen what I could do in training camp, and you know, the coaching staff is definitely putting emphasis to just go out there and play my game. You know, if they pressure you, you know, go make a play, and you know, that's something that, you know, I haven't gotten in a long time. So, you know, there's definitely something to get adjusted to. You know, obviously I'm gonna make, you know, some mistakes, turnovers, stuff like that. But, you know, it's all learning. I'm still young, and you know, I still got a lot more to go in this league.
JJ talks about how the team has to have a certain belief level even when guys are out. Was that something verbally shared to you guys before the game, during the game, and how did you feel like you were able to start the game like that, thinking you were going to win even though you had guys out?
Yeah, he said that before the game. He said no matter what, you know, who's playing or not, his belief in this team is really high. You know, he told us that. You know, everybody's, you know, practiced together. You know, we had a good training camp. So, you know, we had guys that out. You know, during the preseason and even this season started. So everybody was ready today. You know, start with the Nick, of course, but Bronny, everybody. You know, they made all the good plays. So yeah, it was a great win.
You know, for you, it was kind of a typical, you know, all three levels, right? The threes, the mid-range, got to the hoop a couple times. What were you doing with how aggressive Portland is defensively? How were you kind of picking and choosing where to get to your spots?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do. You know, I just trying to be aggressive more. You know, especially Luke out, Braun out, Ayers out. So you know, somebody got to score. You know, so. Me, of course, DA too today. We're trying to be more aggressive, and Yeah, you know, they have the defense is really good, so we're trying to beat the pressure, and yeah, we did a good job on that.
You mentioned a couple of your teammates, but what was it like watching Nick Smith Jr. and have that moment, and especially the threes late?
It was funny, you know. I think when he made a run, it was the first quarter, second quarter. He scored like 2 threes or something.
Yeah, 2 threes and a layup in a row in the third quarter, I think.
Back on the timeouts, and I was like, hey, keep going, and he's like, my stomach hurt. And he left. And I was like, I told coaches, hey, Nick left, just left. You got to put somebody on. But I knew that he was going to have a good game. And, you know, since then, he's just, from there, like, he was just going crazy. So, yeah, I'm so happy for him, you know. Even the training camp, you know, he was the second unit and always, you know, one of the best guys, you know, score the ball. So, yeah, it was a good performance by him.
The term shorthanded can be a misnomer. I mean, you guys went 2-1 in the 3 games. Luka was out. You guys won a game where Luka, LeBron, and Austin are out. What does it say about the character of the team that you guys are able to step up? Your star players aren't on the floor.
I think it's a team chemistry, you know. Especially, I just said, you know, we had a great training camp, and our core is playing hard. You know, we don't want to. Those are never going to change. You know, whoever we play, not, you know, and especially Brown, Luka, Ayers, we have to play harder. You know, that's how we're going to win the game. So it's a good practice, you know, for us. You know, those guys that never had a chance or had a little bit of chance, and tonight, like game like tonight, you know, they step up and then we win those games. So yeah, it's very important for us. You know, it's good for the team. You know, our chemistry and all that. So we got to keep rolling.